There is a bipartisan consensus on China, one of the main foreign policy priorities of President Joe Biden's administration. The White House's current approach to Beijing's growing economic might and assertiveness is expected to remain relatively stable no matter what party takes over Congress. Republicans or Democrats, both are unlikely to shift the thrust of the Biden administration's China policy. In fact, expected victories by the Republican Party will almost certainly force the American leader to take an even harder line on Beijing.
It's crazy. You know, some people said I get a call from all the experts, right? Guys that ran for president 6, 7, 8 times. Never got past the first round, but they're calling me up. Sir, you shouldn't be speaking about Hunter. You shouldn't be saying bad things about Biden because nobody cares. I disagree. You know, maybe that's why I'm here and they're not. But they say, talk about your economic success. Talk about 33.1%, the greatest in history. Now, look, if I do, I mean, how many times can I say it? I'll say it 5 or 6 times during the speech, 33.1. But you look at that, and you look at Tucker Carlson, what he did the other night. Great, and followed up by Sean, and followed up by Laura, and the next day, nothing at all, right? Nothing. Nothing in the New York Times, the fake New York Times. Hey, how about Anonymous? Did we see Anonymous? A low staffer. Anonymous turned out to be a guy. I'm trying to figure out, I don't know who the hell this guy is. So the New York Times said, a senior White House official. Nobody knew who he was. This was a, look, we are in big trouble with the press. They are truly the enemy of the people. They are the enemy of the people. So this guy goes out, this lowlife, who I never saw him. I think he has a picture of me standing there like I do with thousands of people. This lowlife goes out and he writes a book. By the way, when he left, he had nothing but praise for the Trump. Oh, it's incredible, incredible. Then somebody gets him at the New York Times, the fake New York Times, and all of a sudden he becomes nasty. And he writes, and they say, a top White House official. Well, he was a staffer, low, had nothing to do with the White House. He had nothing to do. And he goes in, and you know what? There should be major criminal liability for some scum like this. And you know, for a year, everybody walks into my office, Secretary of State Pompeo. I could name every one of them, all good people. I'm looking at them and saying, I wonder if that could be the one, right? You know? And it turns out to be this lowlife that nobody knows who the hell he is. He had nothing to do with us. I don't think I ever met him, and I might have met him. I think somebody said, he has a picture of me standing someplace. This is a disgrace to our country. It shouldn't happen. And he should be prosecuted. Are you listening to me back in Washington? He should be prosecuted. Along with the New York Times, because it was a story made up, it was fake news made up by the New York Times. And you know who he works for now? CNN. He works for CNN right there. See the camera right there with the light that just went off. It just, see that, honey? That red light just went off. Fake news, CNN, and Anderson Cooper. And Anderson Cooper asked him, are you anonymous? And he lied to him. He said no, essentially. Said, no, I'm not. And he works for CNN. I would think CNN would be firing him about, but this is a real lowlife. You know who else he works for? Google. He works for Google. I think Google should fire him very quickly because bad things are going to happen to him. But think of what he does to our government, right? It's like a horrible, treasonous, horrible thing that you can do this and you can get away with it. Weekly jobless claims. This is boring, but it's really good. Just hit a 7-month low. In other words, from the beginning of the pandemic, 7 months ago. No, we're going to have next year the best year we've ever had economically. And it's true. Biden is holding back the stock market because, it's an election. Crazy things could happen. Maybe 100% of the people in Florida decide not to vote. You never know. But we have a headwind, so it's gone down a little bit over the last few days because, you're coming close, and it could be. We're going to win this election so big. You watch. We're going to win it so big. And that's the only reason the market's going down. The market's going down because if he gets in, seriously, you're going to have one of the worst depressions we've ever had. You're going to have, and John Roberts from Fox is back there, and I think he agrees. And John Roberts is very unhappy because he doesn't want his 401k to go down the tubes. Now, John's treated us very fairly. Not perfect. He's not perfect, I will say. But he's been overall pretty good. He's pretty good. So CNN, Google, we got to do something about all of it. New York Times is fake. It's fake. They write so many fake stories. Thanks to our policies, America is experiencing the fastest and biggest recovery. We're having the best recovery anywhere in the world. No other country, small or large, is recovering like us. Think of that. In the past 5 months, we've created a record 11.4 million American jobs. The fastest job growth in the history of our country. Our job growth has been 23 times faster than the first 5 months. And Russia brought it into that little shop to have it fixed. Russia. I think Russia's looking at us and saying, those people are stone cold crazy. This is... No, it was Russia's fault. They said it loud and clear. It was Russia, Russia, Russia. Aren't we tired of this crap? I saw Schiff the other day, 2 days ago, watermelon. He looks like a watermelon head, right? Remember he lied in the halls of Congress? He read my conversation with the president of Ukraine. But it wasn't my conversation. Hey, how great. Do we love those people that took down the language? Professional military people. Word for word for word. If I didn't have it, it would have been my word against Shifty Schiff, right? 8 times he said quid pro quo. Think of what that means. 8 times you've asked for the same thing. The guy on the other, after the 3rd time, the guy on the other side would say, he's got